Today, we're going to validate exactly why you feel inexplicably exhausted by 5 p.m. despite doing absolutely zero physical labor. Seriously, have you ever had one of those days where you barely moved a muscle, yet when you open your laptop to start just one last task, your brain completely flatlines? You want to unwind, but even picking a show on Netflix feels like doing your taxes. Well, stick around because today we're going to uncover exactly what's happening in your brain.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at the invisible exhaustion, the cost of switching, decisions and open loops, the fake rest trap, the cognitive load budget, and finally, 5 ways to recharge. Let's dive right in. So, why are you so tired? You know the feeling. You sit at a desk all day, barely moving, but by dinner time, your brain feels completely fried, and you have literally no idea why. It's not like you ran a marathon or lifted heavy boxes, right? But when someone asks you a simple question, you feel surprisingly irritable. The answer to this everyday mystery is cognitive load. See, your brain doesn't just get tired from doing complex math or writing essays. It gets heavily strained from simply switching, deciding, filtering, and constantly responding to the environment around you.
Section 1. The invisible exhaustion. Mental work is work. Let's break down the hidden, silent work happening in your head during a typical modern workday. Think about the paradox we face every single day. Physical effort is super visible. If you watch someone carry a heavy box or walk for miles, you immediately recognize their effort. But cognitive work? That is almost entirely hidden. A knowledge worker can sit totally motionless, but inside, their brain is furiously processing information, managing complex emotions, interpreting nuanced messages, and, this is a big one, actively suppressing distractions. That relentless mental effort is invisible, for sure. But invisible definitely does not mean free. Your attention and executive control are highly limited biological resources, and they burn energy exactly like your muscles do. Just think about the rapid-fire volume of inputs your brain is forced to filter just to get to your actual work. Your brain is constantly playing defense, deciding what deserves your attention and what to ignore. I mean, look at this list. Emails, Slack messages, a dozen open browser tabs, your phone buzzing with news and social media. Think about how much mental energy it takes just to actively ignore a Slack ping when you're trying to focus. It actually takes work to not look. And somewhere, buried deep beneath all that constant noise, is the focused work you're actually paid to do. Okay, Section 2. The cost of switching. The hidden drain. Let's see how all this filtering turns into a massive drain on your performance. Picture this. You're writing a complex report. You're finally in the zone, right? Then, a notification pops up. You glance at it, it's just a colleague asking a quick question about tomorrow's meeting. You answer it and jump right back to your report. Technically, that interruption took less than a minute, but mentally, the cost is absolutely massive. This is a fascinating psychological concept called attention residue. When you move between tasks, part of your attention actually stays glued to the previous one. You don't just instantly snap back into deep concentration. Even though your eyes are back on the report, your subconscious is lingering on that message, wondering if you gave the right answer or waiting for them to reply. Now, to put this into perspective, we repeatedly restart our brains like this 40 to 50 times a day, bouncing rapidly between contexts. No wonder we feel so thoroughly depleted. Just think about your average morning cadence. Email, report, message, meeting, spreadsheet, quick phone call, back to the report. Your workday becomes less about sustained quality thinking and way more about aggressively restarting your mental engine over and over and over again. That start and stop friction, it is incredibly exhausting. Moving on to Section 3, Decisions and Open Loops. Mental fatigue. Let's explore 2 more hidden culprits that make your internal environment so noisy. We tend to think of decision-making as something major, like buying a house or changing careers. But modern workdays are just packed with micro-decisions. Should I answer this now? How do I phrase this email? Can this just wait until Friday? None of these are particularly hard, but the sheer volume is staggering. When these micro-decisions pile up, your mental fatigue spikes and you naturally start reaching for easy distractions. You start procrastinating. And then what do? We beat ourselves up, thinking, man, I'm just being lazy. But actually, scratch that. When you're overwhelmed by hundreds of micro-decisions, you aren't being lazy. Your brain is literally just desperately trying to reduce its cognitive demand so you can survive the afternoon. And it gets worse when you're carrying around dozens of unfinished tasks or open loops. Your brain becomes an incredibly inefficient storage system. The email you need to reply to, the awkward conversation you're avoiding, the electric bill that's due, they might not take up your full focus, but they're sitting right there in the background, constantly nagging you with this exhausting internal voice, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. Listen, your mind is a brilliant tool. It's meant for thinking, not for acting like a messy, overflowing filing cabinet for everything you might need to think about later.
Section 4, the fake rest trap. Why rest doesn't rest. Let's address why your evening couch time might not be doing you any favors.
This is exactly why doom scrolling on your phone doesn't actually recharge you. You finish a long day, collapse on the couch, and immediately grab your device. Suddenly, your brain is bombarded with fast-paced videos, breaking news, polarized comments, and flashy ads. Your body is resting, sure, but your attention is working serious overtime. There is a massive, critical difference between simply stopping your professional job and actually giving your brain a break from processing new stimulation. If you jump straight from work stress into digital novelty, you never experience any real mental quiet. Your brain is essentially still running on a treadmill.
Section 5, the cognitive load budget. Managing mental energy. So, how should we reframe our schedules to prevent this inevitable burnout? Think of your mental energy like a finite daily bank account. Every single thing you do spends from this budget. The issue is, we usually look at our calendar and ask, do I have an hour available? Instead of asking a much more important question. What kind of mental capacity will I actually have during that hour? Look closely at how this budget is being spent. It's wild. A massive 40% goes just to switching tasks. Another 25% is eaten up by emotional regulation, like trying to stay calm during a frustrating meeting. Hidden fees like these, plus constant interruptions, are rapidly draining the exact capacity you need for deep thinking, leaving you with barely a fraction of your energy for the work that actually matters. Finally, Section 6, 5 ways to recharge and reduce mental fatigue. Let's build this all into some actionable solutions for sustainable performance. We need to actively reclaim your bandwidth by shifting focus away from just managing calendar time to fiercely managing your cognitive cost. Here are 5 specific ways to do exactly that. First, reduce unnecessary context switching. Group similar tasks together. Knock out all your emails in one batch instead of checking them 30 times a day. And protect your deep work from notifications like your life depends on it. Second, externalize those open loops. Write things down in a notebook or an app the second they pop into your head so they don't get stuck in your working memory. Third, reduce trivial decisions by creating defaults. Think of Steve Jobs wearing that same black turtleneck every single day. He did that to eliminate the micro decision of getting dressed. You can do the same with morning routines or email templates. Fourth, give yourself a real 10 to 15-minute window of true low stimulation. No phone, no podcasts, no screens. Sit outside, stare at a wall, take a quiet walk. Just let your brain stop consuming information for a second. And lastly, match your hardest thinking to your best mental hours. If you're sharpest at 9 a.m., please don't spend that premium energy organizing your desktop folders. Save those low-energy admin tasks for your afternoon slump.
Because at the end of the day, being busy and being cognitively effective are absolutely not the same thing. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to challenge how you intentionally design your environment from here on out. Sustainable performance isn't about forcing your brain to tolerate unlimited, unending input. It's about aggressively guarding the gates of your mind. So ask yourself today, what and who truly deserves access to your attention? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to start fiercely protecting your cognitive bandwidth starting right now.